ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We'll chant Bhaja Govindam verses 1 to 10.
भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि नहि रक्षति डुक्कृन्करणे मूढजहीहितनागमतृष्णां कुरु सद्बुद्धिं मनसि वितृष्णाम् यल्लभसे निजकर्मोपातं वित्तं तेन विनोदय चित्तम् नारीस्तनभरनाभिदेशं दृष्ट्वा मागामोहावेशम् एतन्मांसवसादिविकारं मनसि विचिन्तय वारं वारम् नलिनीदलगतजलमतितरलं तद्वज्जीवितमतिशयचपलम् विद्धि व्याध्यभिमानग्रस्तं लोकं शोकहतं च समस्तम् यावद्वित्तोपार्जनसक्तः तावन्निजपरिवारो रक्तः पश्चाज्जीवति जर्जरदेहे वार्तां कोऽपि न पृच्छति गेहे यावत् पवनो निवसति देहे तावत् पृच्छति कुशलं गेहे गतवति वायो देहापाये भार्या बिभ्यति तस्मिन् काये बालस्तावत् क्रीडासक्तः तरुणस्तावत् तरुणीसक्तः वृद्धस्तावत् चिन्तासक्तः परमे ब्रह्मणि कोऽपि न सक्तः काते कान्ता कस्ते पुत्रः संसारोऽयमतीव विचित्रः कस्य त्वं कः कुत आयातः तत्त्वं चिन्तय तदिह भ्रातः सत्सङ्गत्वे निस्सङ्गत्वं निस्सङ्गत्वे निर्मोहत्वम् निर्मोहत्वे निश्चलतत्त्वं निश्चलतत्त्वे जीवन्मुक्तिः वयसि गते कः कामविकारः शुष्के नीरे कः कासारः क्षीणे वित्ते कः परिवारो ज्ञाते तत्त्वे कः संसारः।
We have seen 4 shlokas from Bhaja Govindam. First one is a chorus where he says Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. O fool, think of Govinda, identify with Govinda, worship Govinda, seek Govinda, know Govinda at the body level, mind level, intellect level. Whatever you do, it should be for the sake of realizing the truth. Not get involved in the world. Mudamate. Unfortunately, the mind that is deluded tends to get involved in the world. So therefore he says, be careful. Samprapte sannihite kale nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane. When uncertainty falls upon you, none of this material things that you are spending time in gathering will come to your aid. It is only the knowledge of the self that will help you. Therefore, identify with the self. And then in shloka number 2, he says, Mooda jahihi dana agama trishnam kuru sadbuddhim manasivi trishnam yellabase nija karma upatam vittam tena vinodaya chittam. He says here, you must get rid of the maddening delusion for wealth, the thirst for wealth. He's not talking about getting rid of wealth. He's saying get rid of the thirst for wealth. So we always say in the class that the food can be on your plate or in your pate food can be on the plate or in your pate or in the fridge. It can never be in your head, or it should not be in your head all the time. You understand? Similarly, let the thirst for wealth not preoccupy your mind. And it is easier to say, get rid of the thirst. How do you get rid of the thirst? Therefore, he says, you have to slowly create in your mind the thought of reality. You understand? So, it is only by getting attached to the higher can you become detached from the lower. Without getting attached to the higher, it is impossible to detach from the lower. So, therefore, you must do sadhana, get up early in the morning, go to bed early at night, wake up in the morning early, sit and study, reflect. Then, you do certain physical exercises which is conducive for the knowledge, to keep your body also well, so that you can continue doing your sadhana. Choose the food wisely, which will help you to do such sadhanas. And then do actions in the spirit of karma yoga. Then channelize your emotions towards divinity through bhakti yoga. When you keep a lifestyle of spirituality, slowly, you will create the thought of reality. And as you create the thought of reality, the worldly thoughts slowly reduce. So therefore he says, you can get rid of the thirst for aggrandizing wealth by creating the thought of reality in the mind. And then he says, when you live in life, to live you need wealth. You cannot run away from wealth. So he cannot advise obviously to run away from wealth. It will be very impractical. So he says, how to earn that wealth? He says, Yellabase nija karma upatam. When you say nija karma means dharmic karma. The wealth that you earn through dharmic functioning, righteous way of earning money. So, whatever be your nature and duty, accordingly you set your goal. And whenever we say goal or ideal in Vedanta, we mean something beyond your selfish, self-centered interest. Say for example, most of you are into business, your family is into business. So, you should understand that the business itself is the Yajna Kund. So, there are so many families involved in running your business. All your employees' families are part of your business family, right? So, therefore, it's your obligation to go to give. What talents, what efforts you can give to your business, you do that. Then, you are doing nija karma. The karma that is according to dharma. And your swadharma. You understand? Then what happens? The fact that all of you are putting in such efforts cooperatively, the results will also be very very nice. Good profits you will get. And that share that profit and enjoy that wealth. So he says, whatever wealth that is obtained through such action, be contented. Content your mind with that. Accept that as prasada. This is what we call as arpana bhav and prasada buddhi. When you do the action with arpana bhav. The moment you do the action with arpana bhav, the byproduct of such an action would be profit only. Success, profit, etc. So, he is also teaching you the way to gain wealth. See, the moment we get attached to anything, we lose it. Swami Ramtita says, attach you lose, detach you gain. So he says the way to gain anything is to lose it. If you lose the maddening delusion for wealth mentally and start doing the action in the physical level, in the world outside, you will get the wealth. With proper planning, through your intellect, keeping your mind under the control of the buddhi, you execute the actions for a higher purpose, definitely your actions will be very, very successful. In fact, you will be able to earn wealth and your mind also will be calm and composed, because while acting, you are not thinking about the results of the action. You are not thinking about fulfilling the desires there. With the wealth that you get out of such action, you may fulfill your desires dharmically. You understand? So this way you will earn wealth, you will enjoy wealth, you will rise above wealth also. Your mind will rise above wealth also. And then next he talked about enjoyment. The two motivations that drive normal human being is what? Kanchana and Kamini. The wealth and woman. Woman, because he is giving the example to all the disciples who are men. So basically the opposite sex. The sense contact with opposite sex involves all the five senses, which gives the highest level of sense pleasure. Therefore, it takes that to drive home the point. So he says, seeing the bosom and navel of a woman, do not fall a prey to frenzied delusion. Nari stanabhara nabi desham drishtva maga moha vesham. Yetan mamsava sadi vikaram manasivi chintaya varam varam. It is a modification of flesh, fat, etc. Reflect well in your mind over and over again. See, this technique is what is called as Pratipaksha Bhavana. Pratipaksha Bhavana means an intellectual re-evaluation of your sense contact or any experience from a totally different point of view, especially from a higher point of view, from a philosophical view. So when you do that with reference to the enjoyment with opposite sex, he says, what is this that you are going gaga over? All these are nothing but modification of flesh and bone. Therefore, you must learn to look at it objectively. Then that moha will reduce. That undue value that you have kept on it reduces. So then when I did this verse in detail, one full class I think we did this shloka. You please refer to that verse. There I said, actually speaking, what is giving you, or the enjoyment is coming from Atma, not from the flesh and bone, etc. So go back and listen to that lecture. And then he says, when you reflect like this, you should do it over and over again and again. Why again and again? Again and again because you have developed this maddening delusion also because you were thinking about it again and again. Isn't it? By constant, continuous, unintelligent, indiscriminate thought flow, you have developed delusion. This thick dhag means the dirt that is stuck in your mind for the sense objects as if they give pleasure, as if they give joy, is because of constant mental indulgence. You understand? That's all, nothing else. So now, if you want to get rid of it, it has to be done constantly, like you developed it constantly. But the difference is, you developed it because of indiscriminate constant identification. Now you have to do discriminate constant identification with the higher. So that, you discriminate between the lower and the higher. These pleasures are only temporary. When they deteriorate, what happens? It stays for a while, etc., etc. When you analyze such, then slowly you develop vairagya. Vairagya is a Sanskrit term which a lot of people get scared of. Oh, renunciation, vairagya. Is he asking us to become a sannyasi? See, vairagya simply means, from a relative point of view, placing right value. Like Swami Ramtita says, iron and gold is good for buying iron and gold. That's all. You understand? Therefore, do not develop undue importance to it. It has a certain importance. You need to go through that for certain purposes. Go through that. ठीक है. You understand? Like you have a car in your garage or other cars in your garage. Now, it should be in the garage. Why should it be in your mind? You understand? That's all. But unfortunately now if you look into our life, all these objects are in our head. When these objects are in our head, that is called samsara. Samsara is nothing but all this in your head. Your son, your daughter, your family, your work, everything is in your head. Yesterday we were sitting and planning the entire year's work. What all work we can do in the coming year, in Vedanta Institute, Delhi. So we were doing a lot of planning. Which month can we have lecture in Chandigarh? Delhi lecture has already been planned in October. So when can we have in Chandigarh? And somebody was requesting us, can you come and lecture in Lucknow? So I said, okay, then when can we go there? We were planning. While planning, your mind can be there. But after that, now it should not be in my head all the time. Then I can't do this Bhaja Govindam class properly. You give so much of importance. Of course, we'll be planning, we'll be doing work to inform people over there to make sure that more people get benefited out of these lectures. But then, if I start becoming, hyper about it, then I will start making more mistakes. The team will start making more mistakes. You understand? Therefore, he says, reflect well in your mind over and over again. Through constant reflection about the permanent and the impermanent, your mind will slowly lose its preoccupation with the lower. And then the fourth sloka, he says, Nalini dalagata jalamati taralam tattva jivitam atishaya chapalam vidhi vyadya vimana grastam lokam shoka hatam cha samastam. He's comparing our life to little drop of water on lotus leaf. Lotus leaf has greasy surface, and few drops of water from the pond somehow gets on top of the lotus leaf. And because of the greasy surface, the water drops on the lotus leaf are moving about like mercury on paper. And any minute, any second, it can fall back into the pond. Similarly, from the total consciousness, from the pure consciousness, this little individual jiva has manifested. And this little individual jiva can bubble, can burst any minute. So frivolous is our life here. You understand? Any minute, we think, I am just 20, bahut din hai. I'm just 40, bahut din hai. Because mentally we think we will all live 100, 120 years. But you know very well, any minute life can simply go away. Isn't it? So therefore he's cautioning, you are taking this time for granted. This is the problem. You are taking this time for granted. We are taking everything for granted actually. The ideas and thoughts that we have in our head, we take it for granted. We take our youth for granted. We take time for granted. We take our friends and families for granted. Everything we take it for granted. That's the problem. And then, when they change, when things change, you suffer. So therefore he says, water on a lotus leaf is extremely unsteady. So also is life very unstable. Since it's so unstable, right now itself you spend time in investing in divinity. Invest in yourself. See, the most important thing in life is to invest time in your own personal growth. I say that in my class also, that the first 3 to 4 hours of the day should be only investing in yourself. It should not be given to anybody else. If you are waking up at 4 o'clock till 8 or 9, 4 to 5 hours, solid time you give for yourself. You sit and study, reflect. Then once you finish your study, then plan your day, and then get on to doing little exercise, yoga, walking, jogging, sports, whatever. And then come back, shower, do little puja, have your breakfast mindfully. Takes about 4 to 5 hours. Then get on to work. Of course, when we say work, do it in the spirit of karma yoga. You do this every day now. Solid 3 to 5 hours every day you give to yourself. And see how tremendously you will see the growth in your life. So therefore, invest in yourself. The more and more you strengthen your personality, the more and more service you can do for others and to yourself. So therefore, investing in yourself is not a selfish action. It is a wise action that is to be done. So he says, life is very, very unstable. Understand that the entire world consumed by disease and conceit. Body goes through these changes. So you will go through disease. Unnecessarily, mentally you are having this conceit also. Exaggerated opinion, value, pride, all that. When you keep this mind in such a way, you will be smitten with sorrow, he says. Such a person's mind is smitten with sorrow. If you can invest in yourself, you will not have sorrow. If you don't, then you will be suffering with sorrow. Next sloka. Shloka number 5.
यावद्वित्तोपार्जनसक्तः तावन्निजपरिवारो रक्तः पश्चाज्जीवति जर्जरदेहे वार्तां कोऽपि न पृच्छति गेहे.
See, in shloka number 3, he gave us the Pratipaksha Bhavana with reference to enjoyment. In this shloka, he is giving this technique of Pratipaksha Bhavana with reference to wealth, Kanchana. As long as there is capability to earn wealth, so long would there be retinue. Retinue means following. As long as there is capability to earn wealth, so long as there would be following, retinue. Later, when he lives with infirm body, none would heed him at home. So therefore, what he is trying to say is, you are attributing the attention given to you today to your personality. It is not to your personality. It is to the wealth that you can earn. So, he is asking us to shift the attention to, again, Kena Upanishad. You should remember that. In Kena Upanishad, he says, when he talks about the divinity, the truth, the pure consciousness, he says, it is not what makes you see, it is not what you see, but what makes you see, that is God. Right? So, it is not what you do, but what makes you do. Okay. So when he says, as long as there is capability to earn wealth, see, capability to earn wealth, first of all, you will earn wealth if you do right action. Right? For you to act, the self must be enlivening the body. Self must be enlivening the organs of action. You may do tremendous exercise and keep your body fit and all that. But per se, body is what? Insentient. Unless and until the self reflects through the body will not be able to do the action, will not be able to perceive or act, feel or think, isn't it? So therefore, when you analyze from a relative point of view, compared to wealth, if you compare wealth and capability to earn wealth, wealth is non-essential. Capability to earn wealth is essential. Capability to earn wealth is non-essential. Atma is essential. Are you getting it? I told you once in the class, in the beginning, you should do this analysis. should differentiate between what is essential, what is non-essential. So today you have wealth, there is retinue. Some time in life will come where you will lose the capacity to earn wealth. So then what will happen? Slowly the attention and everything shifts to the other person. So therefore he says, now itself lose the attachment to all these following and everything. See, especially, I think in the book also Swamiji gives the example of sportsmen in this context. Sportsmen, actors, all these people, they have tremendous following for a certain period of time. Isn't it? They reach a peak and then they retire or they get hurt or whatever, and then they are not able to play thereafter. You will see all the following slowly they lose. Isn't it? And it's a terrible thing for a sports person. After having seen such tremendous following, it's like throwing you from such a high-rise building. You are living in the high-rise building, enjoying the penthouse and all that. From there, they have thrown you onto a platform dwelling. A dwelling on the platform. How will it be? Mentally, this is what people are going through when they have attached value to all those outcomes of earning wealth. So therefore, he says, you shift the attention to the essential aspect here. As long as there is capability to earn wealth, so long would there be retinue. So do proper analysis. When you properly analyze and strengthen your intellect, then you will not fall a prey to all this. Otherwise, you will fall a prey to all this fan following, big fan following. So please understand, all these are outcomes of certain things. So you got to focus on that. See, a lot of these sportsmen especially, when they come into the international cricket team or any sports for that matter, football, soccer, tennis, all that, they come in, some of them in their teens itself, and then some of them in their 20s. And they play so brilliantly that within few months or years, they get tremendous following, tremendous money, everything they get. They sign a lot of contracts. So many people are around them. Wherever they go, they are looking for autographs and this and that. Now, the focus shifts to something else. Like for example, when you go abroad as a sportsman, maybe there are so many people inviting you for lunch, dinner. The ambassador of your country there will also be calling you and hosting dinner for you. So everywhere there is, so much respect, regard, gifts being given to you, all that, you may lose your focus. This happens. Many sportsmen, they are having match when they play test cricket. 5 days, the test cricket goes on. If the match doesn't finish, it's 5-day match actually. Now, after the first day or second day, some of the sportsmen, you will hear in the newspaper, reprimanded by the manager. Why? Because they nicely sneaked out of the hotel room and went for late night party, came late and slept. So they will say, okay, you are reprimanded. This much fee you will have to pay back. Something like that they'll do. Why they do that? Because if that fellow is going to have late night, maybe he'll skip morning training, or he won't be that fit next day morning to be able to play well. Isn't it? What does it mean? It means the fellow is slowly losing his focus. However talented you are, if you cannot be focused and be consistent, you cannot achieve. That's why Swamiji says, the most important C's or 3 C's of success is concentration or focus, and consistency, and then cooperative endeavor. You understand? Concentration, consistency and cooperative endeavor. So therefore, He says, as long as there is capability to earn wealth, so long would there be a retinue. So if a sportsman has done a proper analysis, he understands that, array, all this following and all that are there. All these people are coming after me to give these contracts. You become the ambassador for our product. Why? Because of my game. Isn't it? If I can't play, nobody will come behind me. Yesterday I was watching this match in IPL with my son. There was a match between Lucknow team and Bangalore. There is this new player who has come. His name is Mayank Yadav. He's bowling terrific speed, 155, etc. And he got 3 or 4 wickets yesterday. And previous match also he bowled brilliantly. So the commentators were saying soon he'll play for India and all that. And then they were also saying that as of now he hasn't got anybody sponsoring his shoes. He's buying his own shoes. And the commentators were saying, we cannot believe this, But it's just a question of time. He will immediately be contacted by all these big sports companies. He'll be signing, somewhere else. He'll get crores of money soon. It's just a question of time. Isn't it? But because of what he's getting, because of his ability to bowl such speed with tremendous line and length and get wickets, giving very little runs. Isn't it? As long as that capacity he retains. You understand? As long as that capacity he retains, he will get all the other, benefits. Otherwise, he will lose it. So therefore, you must understand the cause and effect properly. You must analyze and understand it that way. Otherwise, we all lose focus. Somewhere we go. We think we are being praised. When somebody is praising us, somebody comes and tells me, sir, today your lecture was fantastic. I tell myself, thanks to my Guru. Thanks to the Guru Parampara. Thanks to my school teachers. Thanks to my parents. Thanks to the society. Without whom I won't be able to do this action. You understand? So all the time, remember that. Then you won't get into delusion. When that awareness slips out of you, then you fall into delusion. This is the problem. So therefore he says, analyze this correctly. Do Pratipaksha Bhavana. As long as there is capability to earn wealth, so long would there be a retinue. So what has happened? When you have understood that correctly, you acknowledge the fans and everybody, but don't get deluded by them. You will not get deluded by them. Later when he lives with infirm body, because body one day will become tired, one day will become incapable of playing that sport anymore. Because you need that speed, na? You cannot play thereafter. That speed with which the youngsters play, you can only compete with them to a point. Maximum, if you see in many sports, up to the age of 40. That also very few sportsmen, because they keep themselves very well. Many of them retire by 33, 32. Their life, sports life is very short. Then they get into commentary and all that. Commentating, coaching, etc. But the point what I'm trying to say is, even if you work on yourself, how long is it going to last? Some time. So be focused and don't have value for this extra paraphernalia. Then you will not fall. Then you will understand. Later when he lives with infirm body, none would heed him at home. So it's not a pessimistic view that he's giving. Nobody will care, only money, so I must keep on earning money. Not like that. You must do something or other to retain that capacity. And then that capacity comes because of the Atma enlivening. So always be reminded of the source. That is the idea that he's trying to teach here. So basically I told you, Bhaja Govindam is nothing but preparing oneself. Preparing oneself. Before the world kicks you, you kick the world mentally. Before the world kicks you, you kick the world mentally. That's all you're supposed to do. Next, verse number 6.
यावत् पवनो निवसति देहे तावत् पृच्छति कुशलं गेहे गतवति वायो देहापाये भार्या बिभ्यति तस्मिन् काये.
As long as breath lasts in the body, so long would there be inquiry of welfare at home. Once breath leaves and body decays, the wife fears the same body. So he is saying here, this life of yours in this world is very, very fragile. Please understand, you are also a tenant here. In the sense, your breath is also residing as a tenant. Any day it can vacate and go, isn't it? When the prana goes, right? When the prana goes, what happens? The body, as long as the prana is there, it's given a name. Isn't it? As long as the pranas are there functioning, when it's alive, it is given a name. When the prana leaves, what happens? The name is removed. And what is it called again? Body or dead body. You know, in Tamil, there is a scripture called Thirumandiram. It's given by a great sage called Tirumular. In that there is one shloka which says, Urallam Kuti Urakka Alidittu Perinai Niki Pinamendru Perit Surayang Gatide Kondu Poi Suttitu Nirinil Murigi Ninepidandare. So, when a person dies, we inform the family and friends, and everybody comes and cries. Isn't it? Everybody comes and cries. That's what he says. Uralam Kuti Urakka Alidittu. They all cry. What a nice man, what a nice woman she was. I don't know why she should die so soon, why he should die so soon. What happened, etc., etc. They talk. And then what? They get ready to cremate the body. Before that, he says, Payarinai Niki Pinamendru Pairit. Payarinai Niki Pinamendru Pairit means they remove the name and they rename it as dead body. They call, if supposing the person dies in the hospital and few people have come home already when they were informed, they're all waiting. They'll say, has the body arrived? Has the body come? Isn't it? They won't say, giving the name, has that person come? Has the body come? Isn't it? Peyarinai Niki Pinamendru Peyarit. Then Surayang Gatide Kondu Poi Suttit. Means they take it to the cremation ground and cremate it. And then what do? They go to the nearby river or lake or pond, take few dips, and then forget about that and continue with their lives. Neeranil Murgi Ninaipidandare. This is the life. So therefore, when the pranas are beautifully reflecting and when you are living, you got to inquire about what is the source that is making this body become alive. Shift your attention to that which is permanent. These reflecting surfaces are all temporary, passing, fleeting. So do not be completely invested in those passing, fleeting, temporary stuff. You understand? So therefore, he says, as long as breath lasts in the body, so long would there be inquiry of welfare at home. Once breath leaves and body decays, when the self is not reflecting through the body, as the result of subtle body leaving the body starts decaying. isn't it? And when the body starts decaying, it will have no value. Even the dearest wife, dearest husband, who loved the body when it was alive, would immediately start making arrangements to get it cremated. That's what he's saying. That's the reality of life. So what you are doing is, you are giving value to the reflecting surface, while you should be giving value to the true source. You understand? See, in English they say hospitable door. When you say hospitable door means what? People inside that house are very hospitable. The door is not hospitable. But they say like that. It's called transferred epithet. Hospitable door. In Tamil also, the lamp is called as vilakku. What does the lamp do? What does the lamp do? In the lamp, you pour little oil, put the wick, soak it in the oil, and then you light the lamp. And then the lamp will give light in the surrounding. Isn't it? So in Tamil, it's called vilakku. The lamp removes the darkness around. Understand? And makes us understand the objects around, the world around. Similarly, so basically it's not that physical lamp, it's the light, but the lamp comes to get that name in Tamil. If you understand Tamil, for that reason, since you don't understand Tamil, it's a little difficult. Otherwise, it's a transferred epithet. For that reason, I gave that example. So, like that, all these values are because of Atma reflecting in you. But you don't care. And then, when slowly deterioration is happening, when one is lying on the deathbed, ICU, then you say, Arey yaar, now what do I do? I could have done this, I could have done that. So that's why they say in Tamil, Appode kippode. For that, now itself you do. You understand? You may not be able to do it that time. So therefore, now itself, when you are young, when things are fine, now itself start investing yourself in these higher values of life. Otherwise, when such a situation comes, you will be completely knocked away. A lot of people, they have become completely dejected. They say, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. 25 years I worked for that company. Suddenly they called me one day and then they gave me the pink slip. I never expected this to happen. Right? This is what they say. You should be ready, keeping your bags packed. Any minute if they say leave, you should be ready to leave. Otherwise, what happens in life is, we grab on, we hold on and on, waiting for others to say, get out. Why should that happen? When you realize, a true leader is one who, when he or she sees oneself slowly, losing out on those abilities, prepare the other person to take over and hand over and leave. That's the best leader. A leader is one who finds the second leader after he leaves. Not holding on to it. Waiting for everybody is waiting, when will this fellow go? He's not going only. It should not be like that. When you understand why you want to hold on to it. And this attachment is deadly. That is what he wants to say. So therefore, get down to the source. Do as much as possible to keep this body firm. You understand? But while doing all that, you be identified with the Atma, the permanent factor. Don't give too much attention to the outside world. That's the problem. You pamper, you keep everything, and then when it is gone, you suffer. And deep inside, you know it is something frivolous, it will go any day. And then a very impending loss irritates you, agitates you. And when it actually lost, you're finished. So all he's saying is, body is an instrument, take care of it. But don't get involved in it. That's all. Body is an instrument, take care of it. Do not get involved in it. Mind is an instrument, take care of it. Do not get involved in it. Intellect is an instrument, take care of it. Do not get involved in it. This is what you need to understand. You should slowly, gracefully move out of the previous stage and go to the next stage. In the Ashtavakra Gita, sage Ashtavakra says, as we all know, there are 4 goals of human life. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Slowly, you got to gracefully move from Dharma, Artha, Kama to Moksha. But if you stick on to this, then that's a problem. People don't mature and move. Everything is in a constant flux of change. You got to move. Your body has moved to Vanaprastha stage, but your mind is still in Grahastha stage or in the bachelor stage. You understand? Which means what? You have not moved from bachelor state to married man state to forest dwelling stage to renunciation stage. But to gracefully grow, leave the previous stage and gracefully grow. Next verse is also very oft-quoted shloka. He's talking about at every stage how you are preoccupied and you never seem to have time for the reality. So that he explains in the next shloka.
बालस्तावत् क्रीडासक्तः तरुणस्तावत् तरुणीसक्तः वृद्धस्तावत् चिन्तासक्तः परमे ब्रह्मणि कोऽपि न सक्तः.
Balastavat. When you are a child, Balaha means child. Balastavat kridasaktaha. So long as childhood lasts, one is attached to play. Tarunastavat taruni saktaha. So long youth lasts, one is attached to damsel, the opposite sex, career, name, fame, etc. So long old age lasts, one is attached to worry. Chintasaktaha, he says. Vriddhastavat chintasaktaha. Balastavat kridasaktaha. While you are a child, you are attached to playthings. Tarunastavat tarunisaktaha. When you are a young person, you are attached to passions. And vriddhastavat chintasaktaha. When you become old, you are constantly attached to worries. If the young boy or a girl is driving the car and next to him or her, if the grandfather or grandmother is sitting, 80, 90-year-old grandfather, grandmother, 2 kilometers before itself they will caution you about a pillar, post. 2 kilometer पहले post है, देख के जाओ, drive carefully. And this fellow, he was not at all thinking about the post. Now, the fact that they are going on saying post, he goes on focusing on the post, so his wheel also is turning towards the post and he is going closer to the post. I am telling you post, you are not listening. So that's what he is saying. Vriddhastavat chinta saktaha. In the head, all kinds of worries. What will happen to my son? What will happen to my grandchildren? What will happen to my wealth? Will they multiply it? Will they all live together or will they fight with each other? You understand? All these unnecessary. The worst part is, how many people will come for my funeral? Arre? How does it matter how many people come to your funeral when you are not alive? You won't even know. Right? So, let me attend as many funerals as possible so that when I die, many more people will also attend. Arre yaar, you understand? Unnecessary worries of all nonsense. So he says, why? In other words, your mind is never free. Every now and then you get a message, no? The computer and all that. You have only 2 MB space left. You might want to, save few files from this computer to something else and empty the space. These things may not work if your space is full. You understand? You keep on getting reminders. So like that, if you go into our head is full of preoccupations. Too many preoccupations. See, remember this, Vedanta is never against occupation. Vedanta is against preoccupation. A lot of people think Vedanta will take us away from occupation. Vedanta will never take you take you away from occupation. It will in fact make you do your occupations very well. You are not able to perform your occupation well because of the mental preoccupations. When your mind becomes free, then you can do all this work. So much worries and anxieties you carry in your head. That's the problem. So, at every stage of life, we are all preoccupied with something or the other. Never is there a time. In fact, even when we come to the class, we come with preconceived notions. See, when you enter the temple, you remove the chappals and then enter. Similarly, when you enter into a class, you should leave aside your previous ideas temporarily. Just listen to what they are saying. Understand it. Once you have understood it, then test it out in the world, then you can do all the comparisons. Then if you think whatever you heard is not going to stand the test of reality, test of truth, throw it. If it stands the test of truth and your previous knowledge doesn't, then throw that. Do we have guts for that? When we enter itself, we are entering with so much of information, defense. Once you do that, then it's very difficult to gain the knowledge. Jesus Christ says, empty thyself, I shall fill thee. If you are full, how can I fill you? For me to fill you, you need to empty yourself. A student went to a Zen master and said, please accept me as your disciple. At the time, the Zen master was pouring tea from the kettle into the cup. And he was continuously pouring, the cup got filled and it was overflowing. And this boy was going on requesting, please accept me as your disciple, accept me as your disciple. And the master said, I am already communicating to you, you are not listening. What? See the cup, it is overflowing. You are overflowing, how can I communicate to you? Empty your cup and come. Then I can fill you. If you want to be my disciple, you got to leave all your preconceived ideas. You have so many preconceived ideas which will come and keep yourself safely. With that, if you listen, it's not possible. You're not allowing the knowledge to go in only. Bahut mushkil hai. I am this personality, I am this height, I am this weight, I know this, I know that. Be careful yaar when you go to these kind of classes. Who said you should completely accept what they are saying? But at least temporarily keep all these things aside and then listen to that fully. And then test it out. Do you have guts for that? Otherwise it's difficult. That's why he says, every time youth you are preoccupied, Childhood you are preoccupied, youth you are preoccupied, old age you are preoccupied. When there is time, he says, who is ever attached to the supreme reality? Very interesting. Parame Brahmani Kopina Sakta. Never do you find any time to be thinking about Brahman. You have no time to think of Brahman. You have no time to think of all these things. See, when you take care of your chappal, the chappal will serve you for more time. If you take care of your handbags, the handbags will serve you for a long time. As soon as you get into the house, you throw your handbag. 2-3 times you do that, that's it. The handbag will give away. Isn't it? You'll have to buy a new one. Anything when you take care, it will serve. The priority, the importance, the value. How much value are you giving to Brahman? How much value are you giving to all these essential aspects of life? Who is giving so much importance to Shreya? Everybody is giving importance to prayer. See, out of 24 hours in a day, minimum we sleep 8 hours. And if you are sleeping 8 hours, 1 hour you are lying down on the bed extra. Half an hour before going to bed, half an hour after. So total 9 hours. Let's say 8 hours you sleep. Then 8 hours you are doing something or the other. Work. Then balance 8 hours also, you are preoccupied with many things. When are you really thinking about Brahman? When are you really thinking about the essentials of life? Where have you given importance to it? When have you given time for yourself? Never. You don't give time for yourself. A person who gives time for oneself will have time for everybody. See, please understand this. When you are well organized, you will have all the time in the world. When you are not at all organized, you will be busy. Supposing you ask me, sir, I want to talk to you, something very important, I want to come and meet you. Please give me some time. If I say, I'm very busy, no time, which means I am not organized or I want to avoid you. Right? Most of the time, it is because people are not organized. But if I am organized, I can say, okay, this week is full, maybe next week we can meet. There will be time if you are organized. If you are not organized, then you will say busy, no time, busy. So, similarly here, people don't understand the importance and value of gaining this knowledge, importance and value of investing in oneself, investing in the good of oneself. Since our time is eaten up by the pleasant things, there is no time for the good things. That's the problem. There is no time. You see this now, sir, no time. When can I do this? But you will have all the time to do other things because of preoccupation, mind. So therefore he says, with the intellectual supervision, you got to free up your mind from these unnecessary preoccupations. See, from childhood when we come to youth and youth to old age, all we are doing is, we are not losing that habit of preoccupation. We are only replacing the objects to which we are preoccupied. Isn't it? Our childishness is continuing. We have only replaced the toys with which we are preoccupied. Earlier we are preoccupied with something else, now we are preoccupied with something else. This is the problem. So therefore he says, before you plunge into life, you should have the ability to control. Then only get in. A fellow who has no control should not get in, first of all. If you are too much of preoccupied, you are not fit to get into the world. But today, unfortunately, we are all getting into the world with all these kind of preoccupations. And then we say, oh my God, traveling is very tiring. Work is very tiring. Work cannot tire you. Travel cannot tire you. Your attachments tire you. You know, Swamiji, until recently, he's been constantly traveling and traveling across the globe to disseminate this knowledge. So yes, every month somewhere or the other he's traveling. So a lot of business people, they ask him, Swamiji, you are traveling so much, we are also traveling so much, but you are always fresh, you have so much of energy, but we are tired, Swamiji. We become very tired. How is this possible? Swamiji always gives this answer. He says, listen, when I leave the academy, I leave it mentally also. There are few people who are in charge of all these aspects to be taken care of. So they know what to do. And I go, having handed over the job to them. If there is some emergency, very rarely it happens, they may contact me. But mentally, I am not preoccupied with the academy. But that's not what happens. When you leave your home and come to office, mentally your home is sitting on your head. When you leave your office and go to home, mentally your office is sitting on your head. This is what is tiring you. It's like some fat fellow is constantly sitting on your shoulder. Obviously you will feel tired. That's what he's talking about. These preoccupations you should offload. Then you will not be getting tired. I know so many people in Delhi who, after their son's wedding or daughter's wedding, they go to one of the best spas in the world for relaxing for 10 days. Oh my God, wedding, bahut tired ho gaya sir. They organize the wedding for the son. And after the wedding is over, 10 days they are going for spa treatment. Because mentally they become very, very tired. Once I had gone to lecture in Ananda Spa. One lady from our class came there. She just got her son's wedding done, Tiring. Why? What is tiring? Your attachments tire you. Your actions cannot tire you. It's not possible. If you analyze it correctly, you will understand. Without analyzing it correctly, you will say actions are tiring. It's the mind that is the reason for samsara. In the Ashtavakra Gita, Sage Ashtavakra very clearly says, as long as there is desire, there is samsara. Desire, where is it residing? In the mind. Mind is the seat of desires. So mind and samsara go together. Samsara is in your head. We think world is the samsara. World is the problem. There is no problem with the world. You have somehow allowed the world to come and occupy your head. See, it's very interesting, All of us have 24 hours. And all of us have some work or the other. Somebody who is taking care of the kitchen, he is also tired. Somebody who is taking care of the entire house, not just the kitchen, he is also tired. Somebody who is taking care of the entire society, he is also tired. Somebody who is taking care of the entire city, he is tired. Somebody who is taking care of the entire state, he is tired. Somebody who is taking care of the whole country, he is tired. Somebody who is taking care of the entire continent, like that if you go, finally you come, somebody who is taking care of the entire world, he or she or it is not tired. What is that? What is that I am referring to? What is that I am referring to? Unmute yourself and answer.
Ishvara, God.
God.
Ishvara,
God is never tired. He goes on creating things. Not literally, From the Advaitic view, we say something else. But then, when you look at it, you understand. So many new things are coming up. Not at all tired. Why? Because no attachment. So, if you invest yourself in the self, you become free from all these preoccupations. Then you can be highly productive and you will actually be enjoying life. Only the fellow who invests in oneself can be productive, highly contributing and enjoying, can serve the society. Others cannot. So it's high time you start investing some time every day in yourself. That's what Bhaja Govindam is talking about. Get rid of these preoccupations, get rid of these attachments, mental entanglements. So let's conclude the class here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriyairva Buddhyatmana va Prakrite Swabhavat Karomi Yadhyad Sakalam Parasmai Narayana Yeti Samarpayami.